everyone, welcome to Awaken into Love. It's the place to be if you're looking for wisdom, support, compassion, education, and an incredible community of people from all around the world who experience the same exact thoughts, sensations, fears, anxiety, and doubts as you. Relationship OCD. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a topic that has been requested for such a long time. Sexual Orientation OCD, also known as HOCD, homosexual OCD, and gay OCD. Now before I dive in, I want to clear up some confusion or some pain that you may be experiencing if you experience sexual orientation OCD. Sexual orientation OCD is not exclusive just for people who identify as being heterosexual or straight. You can identify yourself as being gay, bisexual, or another sexual orientation and still experience this form of OCD. It's really, really important to know that you do not have to be exclusively straight or heterosexual to experience this. So if this has caused you confusion or pain in the past because of articles that you've seen or books you've seen saying HOCD, gay OCD, homosexual OCD, then please know that it is not just exclusive for heterosexuals. It can be for anyone. Now in this specific video, I'm going to be answering a lot of questions in regards to sexual orientation OCD, like what it is, why it's so common with people who also experience ROCD, compulsions with sexual orientation OCD, what we believe at Awaken into Love along the lines of this specific form, and also what you can do if you yourself are experiencing sexual orientation OCD. So we'll dive into all of that. I did get asked a lot of questions. I won't be answering them individually, but you will see them being answered specifically in this video. Now, what is sexual orientation OCD? This OCD is all about experiencing immense amount of fear, anxiety, and obsessive thoughts around one's sexual orientation. In addition to fear and anxiety, this OCD can bring up about a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. The basis is the need for an individual with this form of OCD to have 100% certainty about their own sexual orientation. Some common thoughts within this form of OCD. What if I'm gay? What if I'm straight? What if I'm a different form of sexual orientation other than the one I identify as? What if I'm attracted to another sexual orientation opposite from my partner's? What if I am not attracted to my partner because I am actually different from what I think I am? Even if I'm bi, what if I should be with someone of the opposite sex from my partner? What if I'm in denial about my sexuality? What if I've acted in a certain way in the past that confirms that I am not the sexual orientation that I thought I was? And why do I have groinal responses to people who are opposite from what I am used to being with? And there can also be a bunch of other intrusive and obsessive thoughts with this specific form of OCD. Compulsions can include checking to see how one feels about a person who is opposite from their partner. This could be looking at photos, looking at people on the street, and checking internally to see how they feel. This checking could also include sexually checking, so seeing if you're sexually aroused by a different person, seeing if you're turned on by a different person, or purposely watching porn to see if that causes a sense of arousal. I want to pause for a moment because this was a question that was asked in the community. This checking can actually create sexually satisfying feelings or arousal. This is very similar to how a person with ROCD checks to see how they feel with their partner or doesn't feel with their partner. Whatever we put attention to and whatever we put energy to actually creates more of that sensation. When we put attention to what we don't want to feel, we most likely will feel that sensation more, which is why this compulsion can be very confusing for a lot of people. They wonder why they feel sexually aroused every time they check, and it's because they're putting a lot of attention and hyper awareness to that specific area in their body. Other compulsions could be an individual checking other people's gender parts to see if they are aroused or not. Obsessing over the past and thinking about other interactions that you may have had with other people to determine your sexual orientation. This could also include having stern facts such as you're gay, you did this in the past, you must be gay, you must be straight. They can come with obsessive and anxious thoughts, but they can also be very stern and hard as well. Other compulsions can include Googling, seeing which category you truly fall into. Googling other person's stories to see if you resemble what they're experiencing. Asking for reassurance from other people to make sure and confirm that you are the sexual orientation that you define yourself as. Another compulsion could be avoiding seeing people who you feel you may be attracted to. These are just some compulsions that some individuals may experience if they have sexual orientation OCD. I really want to note that it's very similar to other forms of OCD and relationship OCD when it comes to the avoiding, the checking, the reassurance, the compulsions, and the Googling and all of those type of things, and how similar it really is to relationship OCD. Now, the basis and root is this. An individual with sexual orientation OCD is trying to find 100% certainty about how they feel, which is why one will go into compulsions, because they're trying to confirm for 100% that they are the person that they say they are. Now, due to the nature of obsessive thinking, the more we go into compulsions, the more we feel anxious, the more we have intrusive thoughts, and the more we ruminate, the more this can muddle the thinking of ourselves and create something that we are actually not. This is the same exact thing with our OCD. The more we think a certain way about our partner, the more we obsess, the more we go into compulsions, the more we create a separation from our true selves. Now, before I go any further, I want to say that I know that with Awaken into Love, we say all the time that love is a choice, love is a choice. And I want to apologize first and foremost, specifically to the LGBTQ plus community, if this has caused any confusion for you at all. What I'm saying, aside from sexual orientation, when I say that love is a choice, is that you can choose your partner or not. You have that choice, and that it's not based off of feelings. So again, I want to apologize to the LGBTQ plus community if that's caused any confusion, as I'm not saying that sexual identity or sexual orientation is a choice, but more that love is a choice in regards to being with your partner or not. So I wanted to give you some education for all of you watching right now on just being human. I feel as though this specific thing of just being human is so very important, and I want to put it out there because I know so many of you are experiencing a lot of guilt and shame around this idea of sexual orientation and attraction and being attracted to someone, that I want to normalize something on just being human. What I want to say is that with Awaken into Love, we believe that some people might identify as being heterosexual, some people might identify as being gay, some people might identify as being bi or other form of sexual orientations, or be in between. So it doesn't mean that something is black or white, which can be really, really hard for people who experience ROCD because they want a definite answer. But maybe you do experience yourself as being very heterosexual, but then get aroused by women. Maybe you do identify yourself as being gay and being with a woman, but sometimes you do get aroused by men. We believe that everyone lies on a spectrum, just like people lie on a spectrum with ROCD. And to try to have a definitive answer and a certain answer can actually cause more obsessive thinking, when it can be very natural to be sexually aroused by other people who are different from what you identify yourself as. Coming down to the basis of attraction and being attracted, because that's something that is so common for a lot of people. There is this idea and this fear that if one person thinks that another person is attracted, or that they're kind of attracted to another person, or they find another person attractive, then that means in some way that they are different from what they identify as. For me as a woman, I can easily notice that a woman is attractive, or a man is attractive, or whatever gender is attractive. As humans, we can be attracted to certain things, but that does not mean that we want to be with that specific sexual orientation or that specific person. I get messages all the time from women who identify as being heterosexual, asking me, Kiyomi, I sometimes get turned on and aroused by woman-to-woman porn. Does that mean I'm gay? It is okay to find intimacy, sexuality, human contact, human touch to be fascinating and to be beautiful and to be intimate and also to be stimulating. The part where sexual orientation comes in is when someone has intrusive, obsessive, anxious thoughts constantly about how they may be different from what they usually identify as. These thoughts can provoke extreme fear. It can provoke extreme anxiety. And instead of just allowing the thoughts to be there, an individual with sexual orientation OCD will go, how do I stop these thoughts? And they will also sometimes believe that if they have the thoughts, then that means that they will turn into that specific sexual orientation. With ROCD and sexual orientation OCD, the more we suppress and resist the thoughts, the more the thoughts will become more intense. Which is why radical compassion and wisdom is really key to working through all these forms of OCD. I also want to add, however, that I talk a lot about anxiety or fear or panic coming about with sexual orientation OCD. An individual can also experience the backdoor spike where they do not experience any form of anxiety or panic, but they still might be ruminating or have obsessive thoughts. Unfortunately, the backdoor spike can lead an individual into believing that the anxiety or OCD is true, when in reality, it's really the backdoor spike coming in. So here are some reasons as to why sexual orientation may be coming up for you. For some, individuals have been taught from a young age that being homosexual or gay is wrong. Luckily, we are moving into a culture where there's more acceptance and there's more fluidity along the lines of sexual orientation and even sexual identity. The basis is this: if we in some way have been taught that a different sexual orientation is bad, that being gay is bad, that being homosexual is bad, or even heterosexual is bad, then we will most likely have more shame and guilt around it, which can cause more obsessive compulsive thinking. I want to add ROCD into this mix because many of you experience ROCD and sexual orientation at the same time. The reason as to why one can experience sexual orientation a lot more intensely when they experience ROCD is because sexual orientation threatens to the OCD mind your relationship. This is because if one was not the sexual orientation that they said they were and they were in the relationship, then there would be a fear of losing their partner. Fear would say that if you were a different sexual orientation or you wanted to be with someone opposite from your partner, then what? Then you would need to leave or lose your partner, which is why sexual orientation OCD and ROCD go so hand in hand together, because the core and basis of ROCD combined with sexual orientation OCD is the deep fear of losing one's partner. Getting 100% certainty is what all OCD forms crave, whether it's ROCD or sexual orientation OCD, because it gives certainty to a situation that is more on the spectrum, that is fluid, that is not so defined for many people. But the important thing is to work through sexual orientation OCD, to work through the obsessive thoughts, to work through the guilt and the shame that can really come up and spin sexual orientation and OCD out of control. Now, here are some things that can help and some things that you can do. The first one is to be aware of your compulsions. Check your compulsions. What type of compulsions are you going into? Write them down. What are you doing as a compulsion? Are you reassurance seeking? Are you avoiding? Are you Googling? Are you checking? Really be honest with yourself. Reassurance seeking is also a really sneaky one that a lot of people dismiss. Who are you talking to about sexual orientation OCD? Really be honest and clear with yourself. Tip number 2, remember that sexual orientation, just like ROCD, is not you. You are completely separate. The ALL technique is something that I teach all of my course members, which creates a separation between an individual and the OCD that they're experiencing. Keep remembering that if you experience ROCD, sexual orientation OCD, or other forms of OCD, that these are not you. Third tip, tackle the obsessions, the guilt, the shame, the rumination, and the compulsions. You do not need to find for 100% certainty, and you won't, if you are gay or not, if you're heterosexual or not, or if you're a different sexual orientation or not. Tackle the sexual orientation OCD. And finally, massive radical compassion. If you are experiencing sexual orientation OCD and it's been debilitating for you, if it's been so hard for you, then please know that you're not alone. You're not the only one who is experiencing this specific form of OCD, and you are not alone. Please practice giving yourself radical compassion, something that you so deserve. So many times sexual orientation can come with immense amounts of guilt. This isn't your fault. Your brain is just trying to find ways and how it can try to control the situation so you don't need to leave your partner. So start with this right now. Start with this today. Put your hand on your heart, put your hand on your stomach. Tell yourself that you are still loved, that you are worthy, that you're not alone, that this is hard, but that you'll get through it. massive, massive radical compassion and acceptance to all of this. This OCD is not you. This OCD was never you, and you did not choose it. So keep remembering that. All right, everyone, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the specific one on sexual orientation OCD. Again, I love being here. I feel like I say that all the time. I hope you're all doing well. And if you're new, feel free to sign up for the free ROCD checklist. You can find that at awakenintolove.com and click the free ROCD checklist. And if you're interested in joining an incredible community of almost 400 people from all around the world, then feel free to go to awakenintolove.com and click the ROCD course and community at the top. I hope you're all doing well. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you experience this, if you experience ROCD and other forms of OCD, please know that you're not alone and there is hope. Thinking of all of you. Here's to being human. I'll talk to y'all soon, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.